Welcome to The Good Work, a podcast and video series that follows The Event Company, an event design company that specializes in corporate, nonprofit, and social events. Our passion lies in creating one-of-a-kind events that share the good work of organizations we are fortunate to collaborate with. Tune in for conversations with leaders of these great groups, our best advice for your next event, and some behind-the-scenes moments. Now, let us show you the good work. In this episode of The Good Work, we welcome Jeremy and Brooke Brown to the office. Jeremy and Brooke own Throne Publishing, a Sioux Falls-based publishing company that focuses on empowering individuals to tell their stories. You'll hear more about how Throne Publishing came to be, what the company looks like today, and the process that it takes to publish a book. Please welcome to today's vodcast, Jeremy and Brooke Brown. Hi, everybody. We are so excited to have Brooke and Jeremy Brown with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
This is your first time in the office.
This is my first time. It looks amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a great space.
It is. It's the same paint colors as my home and same like door color trim and all those different pieces. So it kind of reminds me of my house. So it's a comfy,
cozy.
Yeah.
It is cozy in here.
Sometimes we take a nap on the couch over there.
Nice.
We've done meditation in here.
I was going to ask you if I could do that right when we're done.
Yeah. Meditation or nap or both.
Meditation into a nap. I transitioned from the meditation time straight into a nap.
We've got the candle going, so we can do whatever.
It smells wonderful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Love this space.
Environment is key. You guys know that as well.
100%.
When you guys invite people into your office, you guys know what it's like.
Yeah.
So we are here to talk all about Throne Publishing.
Thank you.
But first, I know, I'm so excited. We were just sharing before we went live that we've got these incredible companies and incredible organizations right here in Sioux Falls. And sometimes these stories don't get to be told, which you guys know. You're part of sharing stories and telling people's story.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for everybody to know more about you guys because I've been a fan for years and I've known Jeremy for a long time.
Yes.
I feel like it's a long time. Actually, I think I knew your mother. Everybody knows your mom, right?
The woman who wears purple? Yes. My beautiful mother, yes.
Oh, I never equated that. Yeah. The woman that wears purple.
She wears purple all the time.
I know she does, but I just never thought of her being the woman in purple.
Right.
It's not like the red hat lady. Is it red hat ladies?
Yes.
The red hat ladies.
She's not red hat. She'd be the purple coat lady, maybe?
Purple everything lady.
Yeah, literally.
She owns it.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
She owns it.
So we met first at Meso downtown by
That's right.
sharing office space together.
We did. And
I
then
had a true office, and I think you were kind of moving in. Like you were up at the front. You were in the conference room.
I think I kind of took this. I used whatever was available.
That's good.
I was, and if I needed to use the conference room, I remember me and Josh Aberson sitting in the front with the windows in the mornings. It was spectacular.
Isn't it awesome?
And I remember you being in there way back then.
Way back then.
And that was before this company existed, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And now Josh Aberson is right across the hall from us
I can see him right now.
Isn't that crazy? You can see him like right now.
And
right
you
now.
guys have a great, your story is great, Addie.
It's fun
like
to
we're
see
excited
how
to
we've
be here.
Transformed.
You have. I mean, I remember the Meso days.
Yeah.
Then you were
with American Heart.
Yeah. But you were pregnant.
Yeah.
And you left your job.
Yeah.
And you started a new business.
Yeah. Isn't that
all
crazy?
at the same time. That's an amazing story.
And I was living at my in-laws' house while I started the company. That's crazy.
It's one of those scenarios. If you were to see a consultant and they were to lay it all out for you and crunch the numbers that have been like, this makes absolutely no sense.
Correct.
But you had it. You did it. You executed.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And look at you now. We just saw your team crushing it.
They're good girls. We've got a good team. What I love about them, and you know this as well with your team that surrounds you, is they push you to do better, right? It's not always your answer, and you're not always the right one. So those are those challenge points that make us do better, and that's what I love about them. It's not your way all the way.
Right.
It can't be.
Right.
Thank goodness. That's our story. There'd be a version of Throne if it was just me, and it's way better with her for everybody. Got to have the team.
So how did Throne start? Let's talk about that. Because did Throne start at Meso?
Throne started around
Meso?
So I've been in publishing for 12 years. I had my first publishing company, No Limit Publishing.
Yeah.
From the first book I ever wrote called No Limit Living. And so how it all got started is I said I was a sales coach let me just go back really quick. I got into business, not because I had this big idea or this ambition, because I was 19, single dad, wanted to spend more time with my kid.
Yeah.
So I just said, I got to figure this thing out. My 19-year-old irrational mind said, I'll just quit my job and start a business. I didn't know what that meant. And so I quit my job, went home. I figured I'll start selling healthcare products because I used them. I believed in them. I was like, I could probably sell this stuff, because my first epiphany was, if you're going to make money in business, you better sell something. That was a good awakening for me. Got a Dex phone book, started cold calling chiropractors.
Oh my gosh, phone books.
You remember when it was a phone book and you had to pay for cell phone minutes by the minute before 5.
Yeah.
So my first cell phone bill was $300 and some dollars. Wow. So I started selling healthcare products, and I started to somehow coach salespeople. So like Holt McDowell, Hague Realtors, Northwestern Mutual, they'd bring me in for like 90 days. I'd work with their salespeople. And then I said, I am so filled with wisdom and experience at the ripe age of 24 or whatever, I should write a book.
That's what every 24-year-old says, right, Brooke? Right. I'm 24. I'm so smart. Let me write a book.
Let me write a book. And I was just filled with wisdom. I'm obviously being very sarcastic. I should have never wrote a book, but I went to Scooters on 57th and Western, sat down, realized I didn't know how to write. But I was like, okay, how can I do this? I can talk. I can't do this and type with my fingers. So I made it for an interview for myself. I essentially interviewed myself, structured the questions so that as I answered the questions, my interview answers became the book. That's how I got my first really bad book done. The distribution is extensive now. There's 2 copies, one on our bookshelf, one in my dad's bathroom. But to get there, it was this really bad book. We launched an imperfect product. It went in 20 plus countries. I gave it away for free to be a lead gen machine.
20 countries?
20 countries. I don't even know how. I couldn't even point to them on a map, some of them. But that's what happened. And we just hustled this thing. And then people said, how did you do that? And I was like, well, here's what I did. I made an interview. I didn't know that was unique. I didn't know. I was solving my own problem. And that's what got us into this whole thing.
Not crazy.
So I had No Limit Publishing, exited that business, started Throne shortly after, and we've been doing that now for going on, 8 years or something.
That is incredible. Most businesses fail year 3, right? Prior to year 3. Look at you.
It's tough.
You're trucking.
Just like you too.
Yeah.
We know
tough. You learn so much.
You got to learn. You got to transition. You got to transform. You have to have a relentless focus on your customer base, just like you guys are doing. Like it's no joke. You got to be a little crazy,
and you fail.
And you got to be passionate. Yeah,
we call it tuition. That's what we call it. We don't call it the failures because it's sometimes super expensive tuition.
That's right.
To be able to learn, but that's the only way that we grow. Now, if we keep making the same mistake year after year, then it's not tuition anymore, is it?
That's right.
Right.
It becomes a cost.
Then you're no longer here.
Yes.
You figure out what
then it's
to
an
do.
exit.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. That's good.
So what do you do? What does Throne Publishing do day in and day out?
Day in and day out. Maybe I'll take this one, and then I'm gonna let you start talking because you're way more interesting than me. I mean, essentially, what we do is we interview family members about their life and make books for their family or for their business. Now, that's what we do. That's our services. Right now, we're working with like Avera, First National Bank, Vance Thompson Vision, one of the largest John Deere dealers in the world, and talking about these stories that are absolutely incredible. We do those books, but we're really passionate too about your everyday average Joe family. Grandma Mary, who lives in Iowa, who has 13 grandkids that she wants to pour her life into. And so what we've started doing now and just launched is we certify people to become certified legacy guides.
That's incredible.
I'm so excited about this. And when Brooke came into the business, I am like high value, get it done right now. Let's go. Like we had very good transactions, very good relationships, high value add. I did not care about or think about experience.
Yeah.
It'd be like, let's sit down in that chair all day, get a book done in a day. I'll order Jimmy John's. We don't need to take breaks. And then Brooke came in and added this layer. Yeah. So what did you think? Like, talk about that piece.
Well, what were you doing before Jeremy?
Well,
Not before Jeremy. That didn't sound right. But what were you doing life-wise before Throne?
I was kind of in the health realm. I was working for a chiropractor here in town and really thought that was my path. And it's still something I'm super passionate about. But realizing this was a family business and something that we felt like we were called to do together. Yeah. Even before we were married, we were like, we have something to do together. Let's go. It was really something that I was like, I think at the transition that I was in, it was like, okay, it was now or never. because we hadn't had any of our own kids yet.
Right.
Jordan, our 15-year-old now, was living in Texas at the time. So we're like, okay, we have no other responsibilities. So let's just make that transition and do it. And so I did. And I remember my first couple of weeks, I was like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do here yet, but I know that I can help. And I've helped build out things within the chiropractic world. So it was really something that we transitioned quickly to. And then I quickly saw our clients were sitting there at the end of the day and they were so exhausted. Even the interviewer, whether it was Jeremy or a writer that was in there, everyone just looked so tanked. And I was like, you guys are sitting in a conference room. The lighting's bad. I mean, you've hardly taken breaks. You had Jimmy John's or something that's probably giving you your 2 p.m. lag. Yeah. And I was like, we need to change this. And all of my training in the chiropractic world was very much for experience because we wanted to be different. We wanted to make people feel comfortable, especially going to a doctor's office. It's not something you put together. So I was like, I can take what I've learned and I can make it our own. And that's essentially what I started to do and continue to always want to improve and make better in our business.
Total game changer.
And it's nice because she had an outsider's perspective looking in, not that she was critical of what you were doing, but like you had said, I think I read it on your website a few weeks back about, you didn't have that experience-based or that, not the customer focus, but it was just a different feel. Like you
Different
were
focus.
get them in, get them out, whatever
High
else.
value, super impactful.
Yeah.
It still impacted people's lives, but not from
Just
their
different.
experience with
Yeah.
us. They were like, dang, we got a lot accomplished in a short period of time. But now you make them feel amazing, so they want to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And with the legacy piece, when we're going to the Graham and Marys of the world, we want to make them feel amazing because they need the confidence to say, hey, your story matters.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to honor you in every single way, including right down to the paper we use, how we do everything, the convictions we execute on. It all matters. So if Brooke was not in the business, we would not be doing what we were doing.
Did you think it was going to be what it is today? Because we're now 3 years in now. Do you think it was?
No,
for you?
we saw potential. We saw where we wanted to go, and we're still always looking into the future and where we want to go and
Of course.
bigger, better, you know. But yeah, I don't think I saw where we're at even now.
Yeah.
Like it's exciting. It's so fun to see where we're at and how we're impacting people's lives.
Right.
And you talk about stories and everyone has a story to share, but there's always that vulnerability with those. So having that coziness or that comfort level, when they're just coming in for, even if it's just a day or a couple hours, being able to recreate that so they really feel like they can settle in quick is super important for us.
Did you, and it all comes down to the little things. I think I've seen on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you even get their favorite snacks. There was an odd snack recently, I think, on one page. Wasn't it was there anything odd? And maybe it's not
We've had
odd
a couple weird ones.
Wasn't there a whole bunch of Cheetos or something? Or am I dreaming this up? Or
Cheetos, it was. And it was we had
Puffs or
Funyuns,
something.
Cheetos. We ask them in advance.
So that's what I was going to say. So do you have an intake questionnaire that you talk through and you go through? Okay, makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got this set up, I'm sure you guys do when you're building dreams. It's tell us about what you want. And you guys ask them questions. Part of her training. So she got trained by Nathan Unruh.
Yeah.
He is incredible customer experience guy. And her mantra is anticipate needs. Yeah. So you guys, like we do, we help them ask questions to think about things they don't know they're going to want or need in advance, right? So and we get the weirdest, or one of our customers, Gina Gooseman Law Firm, hers is red. She likes
everything.
Red.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were like, don't make the whole thing red. How can we make one little accent point?
a statement piece.
Red.
Yeah.
So she was like, boom, that's my thing. It was like a red coffee cup.
But it shows people that you care and you're thoughtful
and that you've listened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And even if you're noticing like back to Jeremy's mom, she wears purple all the time. I wonder if her favorite color is purple. She probably likes purple.
Yeah.
Paint the walls purple. But we're teaching guides, it's you don't have to spend a lot of money, right? It can be as long as it's personal, it's customized, people will love it and they'll remember that.
Because writing a book is daunting. And I'm sure you've heard this probably time and time again. We even had a conversation before. I feel like we've got so many cool stories to be able to share. And that's part of why we launched the vodcast, was to not only share our stories, but their stories as well. Because just like you two, you have an impact on these lives like no other. And that's I mean, when we do events, it's the same thing. You know, we are not just making things look pretty and ordering flowers and food.
Yes.
You know, we are part of all these fundraisers that have raised over $7 million just for this area.
Wow.
Right.
And those are the lives that we're a part of changing, whether it's a backpack going home for food, whether it's a cancer treatment, whatever it happens to be. Like, we are a part of those lives. And we talk about that on the team as well. It's not just the napkins or those little pieces that you're a part of. You're a part of all these lives. So from your standpoint, when you're writing a book, that is super scary to people, and for them to be to open up, because it is vulnerable, like you had said, you know, and for them to just open up to strangers in that essence of their whole life story or their business story is scary. So kudos to you guys for taking those beginning steps to be able to listen and to uncover what their needs are.
Well, thank you. And it's like you can do at these events. It's clear when you look online, we find you on Facebook and everything. You're highly customized according to their culture and everything. Like, you guys take time to understand their DNA. We, as we're teaching these guides, we're like, we operate with a certain set of convictions. They're not values. Values are important. Convictions you sacrifice for. So I'm saying, here are our convictions we embody. So it's a group identity. That's another name for culture. The psychology, it's a group identity. Wherever we go, this is who we are. Yeah.
So talk about the guides, because you've got a lot of different things that you guys do at Throne Publishing. It's not just me coming in and writing a book for the day. You've got this, I can't remember which program it was, but where it's like a 100-day marketing plan that you can kind of customize for those people, or whatever that looks like. Or maybe it's not a marketing plan. Is that what you call it, 100-day?
Yeah, I mean, that's
plan?
part. So we have like two things.
There's like the legacy piece, which I love, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Awaken workshop piece.
Yep.
And those are basically our two entry
And
points.
now these guides piece.
Yeah. So
I want to know more about the guide piece.
the guide piece is like our focus and our attention and our growth plan and model.
Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially we went out in the market. So we know these larger companies love to share their story through books. But in 2017, 2018, we're like, well, what would the everyday average family, would they invest in this? Would they value it? Would they do it? And what we found out was we estimate there's about 10,000 families in this region that would do this. And we found out because my grandma did it for me. When she, in her last hours of her life, she spoke words into me that changed my life. And I was like, how can we do this? And again, it was one of those moments of everything we had done leading up to this point. I'm like, oh my gosh, I interview people and make books. Why don't we do this for everyday average families?
So smart.
So we were like, okay, we could do this. And we got really big. So I'm like, okay, we need to build an agency. We need to start hiring people. And I'm like, that's just not our style.
Yeah.
It's not our model. I love training, equipping, and sending them out. So that's what we're doing is we're saying, here's all our systems of 12 years, our interview outlines, everything from when somebody says yes, all the way to the finished product. We have everything systemized, processed out. Here it is. We'll train you, we'll equip you, go forth and do it. And we'll support you along the way
so
that we can do hundreds of thousands of these families, not just a couple hundred at Throne. So it was a risk because we're risking our brand and all those kind of things. But it's like, we want to impact as many families as we possibly can. And I think you do great things that people need. It influences their whole business.
Yeah.
Because when they get locked into providing these experiences like you guys do for everybody, then they're like, that's the new standard now.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's even more
Good
impactful.
for you guys. Is it scary?
It's pretty terrifying.
A little bit.
We've been thinking about it for over a year. And we were finally like,
Good
let's
for you.
do it. We have to launch.
Yeah.
And we had so much urgency. Like, I just felt this urgency. And literally, like, when it flooded, we hauled up in our vehicle, drove out to Zeal. Took us like 45 minutes because I was like, we need to do this like tonight.
Yeah.
And she felt the same thing. And I was like, yep. And if we wouldn't have done that, I think we wouldn't have launched until the fall.
Wow.
Because of just all kinds of stuff that happens, and you got to start saying no. We're saying no to deals we've been taking for 12 years because we need to do this. Like, I feel like it's a calling for us. We have to execute. Everything else will be there, right? You could do so many things, Addie. You're so talented. You can do all kinds. You're a great leader. There's a lot of things you could do. You feel a certain affinity calling to what you're doing that makes you do it and say no to everything else.
You just do it.
You just execute.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, okay, it's horrifying. But that's where, so it's like this. Here's this thing we're going after. And if we do all the work and we put in all the sweat, blood, and tears, sacrifice what we need to sacrifice, and it fails, will it all have still been worth it anyways? And if we can say yes to that, that's when we know we're going to do it. And that's what we're doing with this.
Good
it's
for
like,
you.
so if it tanks and somebody gets a paper cut and sues us and we got to go bankrupt, you know what?
So be it.
I mean, we've got 9 people now after this weekend in the market. We've multiplied by 9.
Yeah.
We're going to have probably 30 in this next group. Our goal is by December, we're going to be 100 to 150. We're going to need to be calling the event company to bring you guys in to help us. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, okay. We impacted 9 people this weekend. She showed them how to give an experience like you guys are doing. Everybody who comes to these events, you're setting the bar, you're setting the standard, and it makes a difference for them. Even going back home, how probably somebody presents their dinner to their family because of what you guys are doing at these events, it all adds up and it all matters.
It's because you care, right?
Yeah.
And it's about relationships. We always talk it's not about transactions and getting as many people through the door,
Right.
whatever it looks like. It's about the relationship piece of it because you truly care.
Yeah.
You're not just selling a cheeseburger. You're selling the best cheeseburger
Right.
because you care
Right.
what the end product is going to be.
When we follow the love, right? We love our customers. Like we actually love them. I want to see them, and it makes us sacrifice for them. And we have to put guardrails around how much, but we'll put things on the line. We'll do things. I got a text from one of our customers just today, and her book scope went from like here to here. And it's like, okay, well, like it's changing her life. And she's like, I've never met a company like you guys. Da, 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 da.
Oh,
And it's like,
that's so awesome.
You made her whole week or made our week. And it's like, okay, let's
That's
just keep
awesome.
rolling. Even though
Yeah.
it's business, if I was just putting my CEO hat on and just looking at the P&L, it's not going to add up. But okay, it's worth it. Because our convictions say we'd sacrifice for this.
Yeah.
So we're going to produce that. And she's going to tell all of her friends.
Yeah.
And all that kind of fun stuff. But even if she doesn't, it totally changed her life.
Well,
That
it
was
goes
awesome.
back to the experience, and you know very well, people will remember no matter what was said, they'll always remember how they felt.
Right. Exactly.
So creating that experience,
Yeah.
I mean, now she's going and telling people, and people at your guys' events, they go and, did you see the photos? Like, that doesn't even do justice
Right.
of what it felt like being there. And
Yeah.
I just love that we can create that for people, and then it just spreads like wildfire.
Yeah. And you want it to be that sensory overload piece,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what creates the chatter
Yes.
after they leave, right?
Yes.
When I'm just thinking about this now, it's like you asked us, did we see it going this far? We were just executing. Like we'd never done any marketing. My highest budget annually is $800 on Facebook. And we are sponsors at Prairie Family Business.
Yep.
And we just executed. And then we were finally like, how are we going to meet this demand? And now it's what these customers need from us. It's not so much, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? What do these people need? How can we meet these demands? And because we've just been going to town. That's why these things were so processed out. Because we were trying to build a model ready for like 100 writers to be employed by us.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we are
wow.
systemized out. And it's like, wait a minute. We're building a model that isn't going to give us the lifestyle we want. It doesn't really fit our strengths. And we had to be like, okay, what we've been building for, we got to switch because it's not going to deliver what we really want to deliver in the end. So we had to be like, wait a minute, we're wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean,
switch.
just step back and to figure out what makes the most sense,
Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever had, this is a little behind the scenes pieces, but do you ever encounter individuals that kind of start that process and then say like, oh, it's not for me? Do people ever do that? Or do you guide them in such a fashion that you don't let them quit? And the reason why I say that is I have thought about doing this podcast and vodcast for years, right? And it wasn't until Nate and I, our producer, we were sitting with Callie on our team in a snowstorm, 14 inches of snow, and we were at a venue that we couldn't leave. And he's just talking through about the equipment and what we need, and he put it all into my Amazon cart, no joke. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do it at all, because I'd been talking about it for years. And finally he said, well, what if we just did it? What if I helped you? And here we are now 40 plus episodes in, but I wouldn't have done it if he didn't push me to do it.
Right.
And I had a really awesome coach as well that pushed me to kind of do different things outside of my comfort zone as well. But I wouldn't have had that, or I wouldn't be where we are if I didn't have that push.
Yes.
So do you encounter individuals that are like that come to you and say, I have these grand ideas and I want to do this book, and you don't let them quit? Is that the success of your plans?
I would say that happened a lot more before you came on and made the experience. Now we have things set up. Like when we trained the guides, it was all a crescendo up to empower these family members to say, I really do need to do this. We have a book called The Necessity of Legacy. It's a necessity. But I mean, I'll let you speak to that. Before you came on board, it happened because I would exhaust people, right? I mean, I really would. They'd be like taking a nap. I'd be like, let's do another one. I mean, you're here. We got 4 hours.
Well, and as you're in the process too, especially when you're telling your story, there's always that self-doubt. Who wants to hear my story? What do I have to offer? And so when we can build that confidence in them too and walk alongside them and say, you know what, you can do this. And we get to actually point out, like, look at all the good things that are in your story that you have to offer that are unique to you and only you. And then they start to like have, that's why we call one of our, we have one of our products called Awaken, because they literally have an awakening going, wow, okay, I can do this. But sometimes it does take that coach or that little nudge of someone.
And the process, like we have this process called burn. So they're always like, what do I say? Where do I say it? Where do I start? So here's the philosophy is, if you take a bunch of materials and throw them into a fire, only the things of lasting value will be able to withstand the flames. That's what we're going to do to somebody's life experience. We're going to burn it. We're going to find the gold for value, the steel for strength, the diamonds for beauty. So we have a structured, so it like creates that layer of security and support too. But I would say to anybody listening to this, like, you can pick up your phone, you grab a video camera, it doesn't matter, start. And what we need is, so if you got a mom or a dad or a grandma and grandpa in your life, you just have to ask them. Sincerely go to them and say, I really want to know about your life. It's going to help me. And if you just start, we say, like, find, it's either a factual point, a passion point, or a historical point. Ask them about something. It gets the ball rolling and they won't want to stop. Like, it's fascinating because
how exciting. You get all jacked up just to listen to you guys.
Thank you.
Gosh, that's so awesome.
It really is true, though. Like, they'll just start, and then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like when I did this first with my grandma, my grandpa passed away, big philanthropist, entrepreneur, all that, suddenly died. Very traumatic for our family. And I remember having the video camera up. I randomly said, Grandma, can I just start talking to you? No, I don't really want to do it. And I kind of kept prodding her. Soon enough, she has her wedding dress out.
Yeah, and then she was like, she wanted to tell story after story after story. We didn't even have to ask her questions after that. Like, it was amazing.
Here's the thing, dude. She wanted to talk about when my grandpa died.
Yeah.
She wanted to, and she was crying and everything. She wanted to share it. And we help people. How do you talk about hard things? That's what we help people navigate through, is because to talk about the hard stuff, you reconcile it, you name it, sharing it, you heal from it. And then your family can know, this happened to mom, dad, grandma. It's not going to happen to me. I'm going to learn from that. And we do it. So how do you say it without pointing fingers? What is honoring? That is like our highest conviction. We're going to honor every single bit of this whole project is going to be honoring to every person that it touches. That is the litmus test. If it's not honoring, it doesn't go in there because there's not healing there yet. So that's how we do that. And we help them talk about the hard things. I'm just super fast. You can stop me. A man was one of our first people we were doing this with. Phenomenal person. Had a period of his life where he was an alcoholic. And he left his family, cheated on his wife, all this kind of stuff, has another wife. Now his first wife, it was her last 2 weeks of her life. She was in hospice. And he went back there to be with her. And he was talking about this.
Wow.
And he goes, I went back there for 2 weeks, and every morning I'd walk in and I'd give her a kiss and we would just sit there. And he goes, it was like it was all gone. And then he just broke down. And to be able to record that for his family, to have the mom and dad end it well, right? But here's the thing. He came back to me and said, Jeremy, I don't think I want to put that in there. I don't want to talk about my alcoholism, this and that. And to help coach him through talking about the bad stuff, puts it on the table, and you humbly say, this was wrong. Here's what I learned for it. Here's how I finished it. And I'm telling you this for a reason, so that you can learn from my life. Because none of us live a perfect life ever, right? So to help them talk about those things is my favorite part of the whole puzzle. Because now his kids, there's like 6 of them or something, they're going to have that piece to know, okay. I mean, I loved it. It was unbelievable.
Well, and being the first one, we were like, is this an anomaly? Like, was that just... It happened every single time after that. There was a moment that people would this healing would happen, or just talking about it. And it was just so cool to see how they would transform in that way and get a sense of their own healing if they haven't yet. And they're
incredible.
Yeah.
That's what we knew.
Amazing.
That's what we knew. We can't do a couple hundred. We got to do a couple 100,000.
We're clearly not passionate about this at all.
And But I think it's a realistic goal, and it's needed.
Yeah.
And I think we can change a culture because we need to know the contextual past. So how do we figure out, somebody says, I want to write a book. Where do I start? I got to know their whole story. I got to know the whole full context of their life, because as they process the past, they know the way forward in the future. So their future becomes self-evident as they reflect on the past. I've been doing this with CEOs. I didn't know grandma and grandpa. So when grandma and grandpa do it, they said they realize why they're still here.
Yeah.
They realize their life has value still, and we need them. We need our elders. We have to have a mentored lifestyle. And I really believe this is part of the way we can help tangibly, measurably display that, is we need this.
Gosh, I feel like I'm just sucked in. I don't even know what the word is. Like, I could just listen to you talk all day.
Well, and it's funny as you are talking about that and going back to where did Throne come from? He had experienced so many stories and he had so much knowledge of just taking in all these stories before I even came into the picture, that when we were like, we feel like there's something more. So we were like, let's do this to like Throne's past and his life. And we spent 2 long, brutal days. They were amazing though. And that's how this all came about, because there was one little tiny dot on the board that I was like, I kept poking at. I'm like, no. And it was kind of like that spot where he just would go over it. And I was like, no, but what happens right here? And as we dove more and more, that's where the whole burn process came about. And
Change your business.
it completely transformed it.
We did that. She was spurring me to be like, Jeremy, we got to really think about what all, you've kind of done and all the epic failures I've had. So she's talking about for 2 days, her, and I think it was 6 people, sat in a room with me, and I just kind of told them the story, filled up the whiteboard, and they were beating their head against the wall at the end and exhausted. But we figured out, my gosh, this is what's really happening. Like you guys, there's more than events happen at your guys' events. You guys know that. But it was like, what is happening really here, so we can more intentionally do this? I hate the name Awaken, but it is literally what happens. So I'm like, we got to use this silly name, and it's all of our branding now, so we're stuck with it for at least another year until we figure out another name. But it is literally what actually happens.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you can share the story with people, because I think, well, what you do is unlike what anyone else does. And maybe this happens all over the country. I don't know that, to tell you the truth. I'm going to guess not. And it is a scary process. I mean, I've thought about the book piece for a long time. And not just about me personally, but my mother has journaled since before I was born. Every year, my father buys her at least 1 or 2 journals, and it's handwritten every year.
Wow.
She has a bookcase full of them. And I journaled a little bit when I was younger as well, and up until I think my first pregnancy, and then just life happens, right?
Yeah.
So what I think value most about what you offer is you offer that consistency and that plan, because you know what works, right? And you're there as the guide to get these people to share their story and push the buttons, right? To figure out what's the rest of the story and what the legacy that I'm leaving behind. So I am so proud of you guys. You've got an awesome team.
Thank you.
You're doing such great work.
Thank
Thank
you.
Gosh,
you.
everybody should write a book now. I feel like everybody needs to
Now
write a
you
book.
know
you.
our like passion. You're like, yes, everyone has a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we so appreciate you bringing us on here. This is awesome. This is
You're not
honor
leaving
to us.
yet. Guess what?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
I'm going to ask these fun little questions. So this is my little version of a top 10. You can't look at the questions.
Okay.
But this is just kind of a fun little thing so we can get to know you a little bit better. I'm going to ask you first, and then I'll ask you next, Brooke.
Okay.
Okay? Are you ready? Look, he's
Bring it on. Let's do it.
He's got the hand up here, right? So he
He's
knows.
thinking.
So if you were not involved in your career that you are now, not doing the publishing piece, what would you be doing?
What would I be doing? Not doing the publishing piece. Gosh, what a great question. I would probably be going back to my warrior days when I was running around town with messed up young men saying, hey, your life's a train wreck, so is mine. Let's do life together. And we'd be just walking the streets, handing out cigarettes to homeless people, bringing them in, doing stuff. That's exactly what I'd be doing.
People are drawn to you, Jeremy, though. And I think, I don't mean that like in a bad way. I mean, you're super influential, and people just want to be a part of what you're doing.
Well,
Not
thank
everybody
you.
has that gift. And you know that, Brooke, by being with them. I mean,
Thanks so much.
It's so different. Good for
That's what I'd be doing. I love those days.
What about you, Brooke?
Yeah, I'm interested in this.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, hopefully I'd be like the mom I am and that I'm becoming still. But like I said before, I'm super passionate about helping people. And I think nutrition is where I really feel
That was going to be my guess.
like I'm called to at times, and I'm super passionate even in our family, which sometimes the boys don't like me for that.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Can't eat ice cream every night.
But then they see the difference, so that's probably what I'd be doing.
Speaking of ice cream, good segue.
Yes.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Stenzlen Ice Creams, Heavenly Holstein, triple scoop, vanilla
my gosh,
waffle
those are
cone.
Wow.
Go-to.
I have not been there yet. Do you know that?
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
It is
You
so
won't.
good.
It's unbelievable. It's phenomenal. Yeah. What's yours?
What about you?
Mint chocolate chip. Has been since I was a little girl.
We're frequent Stenzlen, so like that's like boom.
We just had this conversation on our team. We did a whole desserts episode. Do you like the hard scooped ice cream or do you like the yogurty out of
I
the
like
machine?
in between. I don't really like the hard stuff, but I think with mint chocolate chip, it's always a little bit harder because you got the chocolate in there.
As long as it's cookies and cream, I'm game. She tries new stuff. I just go straight up. Heavenly Holstein, cookies and cream every single time. Throw a brownie in there.
Depending on what pregnancy, I like my flavor changes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I had a lavender rosemary once and it was so good. Anyway. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
A lion.
No, I already figured that.
I'd be a lion or maybe, what's another thing?
Oh, I think I just growled. I don't think that's a lion.
I think I might want to be a badger too. They're really
I was
underestimated.
totally going to say that for you.
A badger? That's
It's
the
really
first time I think in
awkward.
40-some episodes we've ever had someone say a badger.
Badger.
I think I'd probably.
Is
I'm
that
going
the
to
thing
say
with the
badger
big
over
tail, or is that a beaver?
They're flat, and you can't kill those things. They're really mean. They're vicious. They serve a purpose. They get rid of varmints, and they are just mean. I don't know why I said a badger.
You're not mean, so I don't know why that, but I think
to
he
pick
likes that he
something
can't
else.
be killed, and I don't know. Gosh, what would I be? Probably a bird. I don't
What kind of
know.
bird?
I don't know. Maybe like an eagle or something, because I feel like they're strong and they're very, but I don't know.
I would have totally picked some kind of majestic bird for you, or a succulent,
like a unicorn eagle or something.
Yes.
Like a unicorn eagle.
a dragon eagle.
I just love the fact like
Just
can
seeing over
fly
everything. And
yeah, it's so tranquil.
You would soar and.
I feel like we're going to break into song here any moment.
Cue the music.
What about your bucket list? What's one thing on your bucket list?
When you said that, the first thing came to mind is I want to go to Cameron Indoor Stadium, a Duke, North Carolina game, and sit right in the middle of the Cameron Crazies with a basketball hat on and painting my belly, nothing but underwear and blue and white.
Aren't you a big
paint.
Notre Dame fan?
I am, but basketball, I love Duke.
Oh.
Notre Dame, 100%. I don't
Yeah.
even cheer for any other football team, period. I'm the
Notre
Pats.
Dame?
Yes, you do. You
I mean,
cheer
the
for
Pats,
the Pats
because I married one. But even in NFL, I feel like I'm cheating on Notre Dame. But that's the first thing came to my mind.
He can go to that by himself because I don't know.
She's a North Carolina fan.
That's okay.
Ish, just because I live there, but that's okay. What would I do?
What would you?
I want to travel. Like I want to go. My heritage is from Syria, and that's such like a space now that it's hard to do that. But
Right.
I would love to go and just see some of that unique stuff and kind of see where my heritage came from.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
What about a hobby? What would you, if you had one hobby to start, what would it be?
That is my biggest life struggle.
Is a hobby?
And one of my coaching things are like, what's your hobby? And I'm like, I've literally never had a hobby.
Yeah.
I had a son when I was 19. I don't have hobbies.
Yeah.
Um,
I say the same thing sometimes.
yeah, I would want to make something. I still feel like I'd start like some kind of little business or something because I just enjoy it. Maybe, but I really don't have the patience.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's my favorite thing I've ever done outside of work. My friend needed a hole dug in his backyard, and I dug the hole. It was awesome.
Like with one of those chomper things?
No, I got a shovel.
Yeah.
And I went like this for like 6 hours. Wow. It was awesome. So I think I would do like, I'd have somebody be like their gopher with landscaping, and I would just do all the grunt work.
The whole guy.
It was awesome. I went and dug a hole.
Wow.
It was really cool.
You love fishing, though.
I like to
you
fish.
Fishing. I think
I like
fishing
fishing
would
and
be,
hunting.
Yeah.
What about you? A hobby that you could start that you don't do currently?
Well, that I don't do currently. Oh. I actually have a little bit of hobbies. I play
what?
music. So I love,
fun.
not that I get to do it as much now being a mom,
Yeah.
I feel like, but I play the cello and I love doing that. But I also love making like I love being creative. I'm very creative, so I like anything, whether it's painting something, even though I might not be good at it, or making succulent arrangements.
Yeah, you're so good at that. Mine are still alive, by the way.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah. I had to have them repotted because someone else gave me a succulent, and I just had Young and Richards just redo it for me.
There you go.
Boom.
I don't know.
You are a music person. You have hobbies. You have a well-balanced lifestyle compared to me.
What does your dream day look like?
Dream day?
Yeah.
It sounds really kind of crazy. I would literally do these awaken sessions. Like, I love doing them. Mm-hmm. Somebody sitting down saying, I don't know what to do. Where do I go? And going, boom, here's what it is. But I think, what else would be my dream?
Like Pop-Tarts or anything?
First thing comes to my mind is like going to a lake in Canada where there's just these massive walleye.
Oh, yeah.
And just cleaning house. And live in like a cabin. Never wear a shirt. All day.
What is up with you?
That would be
very
my
manly here.
Dream day
What
right
about
there.
you, Brooke? What's your dream day?
Oh, well, lately it's been like wake up. I love working out. Like I'm obviously nutrition, exercise, love that stuff. So have like the perfect good workout, not too tired afterwards, and then just probably be with my kids. Like I just whatever that is, but outside. We have to be outside because I love being outside. So, yeah.
Would you rather speak every language in the world or talk to animals?
I know exactly what she says. I'd rather speak every language in the world.
What about you, Brooke? Animals?
She does talk to animals.
Okay.
So he says, I just connect with animals.
Good for you.
So since I already do that, I'd probably want to speak every language. I love learning.
Yeah, I do too.
I'd love that.
What's your favorite emoji?
Favorite emoji?
Oh, can I answer this one for you?
Sure.
The thumbs up. All the time.
Yeah.
He uses thumbs up all the time. Or the boom, like the.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I've never done the boom one.
He loves that one.
I'll do it when we're leaving.
Boom.
Thanks for having us on the show, Eddie. And I'll do
I
it.
do the crying, laughing one a lot. Like where he's just like, ha, 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 ha. Have you seen the Emoji Movie?
No.
It
I
is
haven't
funny.
seen it.
My little guys love
No,
it. It is so funny because they all talk to each other, and like the sad one is always so sad throughout the whole thing.
Really?
He lives with the sad family, and he doesn't want to be sad anymore.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to have to watch that one.
No doubt.
Last
Claire will
question.
love it.
At which store would you max out a credit card?
These are great questions, Addie. Oh my gosh. Probably Barnes & Noble. If I could have my dream home would be Barnes & Noble. I'd lock it, only let the UPS man in. But I wouldn't read the books. I just want to be around them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't want to read them.
Good.
Ooh. I'd probably have to say a local here, a Mavo.
Oh, yeah. Big fans.
For sure.
Andrea.
Didn't you do that last week?
Allie, all the girls.
It's very easy to do that
Yeah.
there, too.
I love all those guys.
Yeah, they're amazing.
She said,
like
what
you said,
one would
we
you
have
do?
amazing people
Yeah.
here in this town.
Yeah.
Not what one do you do, is what one would you do.
Oh, sorry.
Which one would you do?
I'd probably do like something like.
He's just giving you a hard
I was
time.
joking.
Oh, thanks,
Gosh.
honey. I would do a Mavo for sure.
Yeah, you do.
Well, today's episode is sponsored by Amavo. Just kidding. We're kidding. Thank you so much, you two, for being here.
Thank you
We're
for
excited
having
for you
us,
sharing
Addie.
our story. And
This
I'm
has been a
excited to
blast.
see what happens next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of The Good Work, and a special thank you to our friends Jeremy and Brooke for joining us and for sharing more about Throne Publishing and the lives that they're impacting. You won't want to miss next week's episode as we talk about all that it takes to plan an event from afar. Don't forget to subscribe to The Good Work on YouTube and iTunes and follow the event company on social media to stay up to date on the good work that we're a part of each day.